Hi guys, and welcome to this Pick a Card tarot reading where we're going to be looking at a message specifically for you from the universe, the divine, your angels, your ancestors, whatever you would like to consider it. This is a message specifically for you that you need to hear right now. I'm really excited because since my channel started, because I had probably 20 subscribers, people have been asking me to add charms to my readings, and I decided during quarantine to learn how to do charm reading. So I got a charm set and I've been using it pretty extensively in quarantine, for friends and family, trying to figure out how I do charm reading. And I finally feel like I can kind of incorporate it into my readings now. So I'm going to be adding some charms to this reading, and I'm excited to see what you guys think about that. We also have 4 piles to choose from today. Pile 1 is the Witch's Tarot, which was sent to me by Kimberly. Thank you so much again, Kimberly, for sending me this really pretty deck with a piece of raw rose quartz. So that's pile 1. Pile 2 is the spolia. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Tarot with a really pretty pink amethyst cluster. Pile 3 is the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot with a piece of rhodonite, which is one of my favorite stones. And pile 4 is the Marshmallow Marseille Tarot with this piece of rainbow cluster. And look how pretty the back of these decks are. I'm not normally a person that's into holographic stuff, but I think this is so pretty. So that is pile 4. So take a moment to meditate, to ground yourself, and when you feel ready, you can select the pile that you feel called to. I'll put the timestamp in the description. You can go ahead and jump to the pile that's calling to you. Do please keep in mind that this is a general reading, so there's going to be multiple people watching each reading, and not everything may resonate with your situation. So if there's something that just isn't sitting right with you, please don't feel like you have to take it, that you have to make it fit your situation. Just, let it pass and know that that was meant for someone else, and just take what resonates with you. So all of that being said, I will leave the timestamps in the description. You can go ahead and jump to the pile that's calling you, and I will see you at the timestamp. Hi guys, if you chose pile 1 or the Witch's Tarot with the rose quartz stone, then welcome. This reading is for you. Let's take a look at what message your angels, the universe, your ancestors want you to hear right now. We invite any ancestors, any spirit guides, any positive energies that want to communicate with us about everyone that chose pile 1 to please communicate in the most effective and concise way possible so that we can get the most accurate and helpful reading for pile 1 that we can. Again, asking, what does pile 1 need to hear right now? What do they need to know, to learn? Okay, we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse. We have the 8 of Cups in reverse. I'll fix that in a second. And let's get one more card. What does pile 1 need to hear right now? Okay, and we have the Fool in reverse. I guess I'll fix this. Let's see. And at the bottom of the deck is the shadow side, which is the moon card in the traditional tarot. Okay. So the very first thing that I'm seeing here is that there's a lot of blocked energy. All of the cards that came out and the 4 main cards were reversed, which to me indicates a lot of blocked energy. And then the one upright card you have is this card that says the shadow side. So I do feel like for a lot of you, there's something that you guys are repressing within yourself that's causing you to feel blocked. With this Ace of Wands in reverse and the Fool in reverse, you might be feeling like you're having a hard time knowing which path to follow, or you might be feeling like you're kind of creatively blocked in some way. It might not even be creatively, it might just be like you don't feel inspired, you don't feel motivated, you're just not sure like which path to take. Like with this Eight of Cups, excuse me, and the Fool both in reverse, both of those cards usually talk about starting something new, leaving something behind, like starting fresh, starting new. And so with both of these cards coming up reversed, especially with this Ace of Wands in reversed, I just feel like you're feeling kind of stuck and there's, you know, not a lot of new energy coming in. And I feel like that might be because with this shadow side card, you're not acknowledging your shadow side, you're repressing something. And because of that, you're having a hard time kind of getting started, if that makes sense. It's interesting to me that you have the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands in reverse, because those are both, to me, very powerful cards. The Queen of Wands, to me, is someone who is very passionate. She's very driven. She's also very charismatic, very magnetic. And to me, she's that kind of person that just like everyone feels kind of drawn to. And so the message I'm kind of getting with the shadow side and that card in reverse is that you might be feeling like you don't have those qualities. You might be feeling like you might be looking at other people and thinking like, why can't I do that like that they do? Why can't I look like that? Why can't I be like that? But what you're not realizing is that you have those qualities in yourself and you're just not letting them come to the surface. With this like butterfly card in reverse, or the Ace of Wands, which has a butterfly in reverse, I feel like you're not letting yourself change in some capacity. I feel like, again, you're kind of being called to do something different, and I feel like you know that, because again, I feel like this energy feels quite stuck, but I just feel like you're not quite sure like what to do, where to go, how to make it happen. And I feel like a lot of it is because you are kind of doubting your abilities, or you, with this shadow side card, this is just making me think that like I don't see this, the shadow side, if you're not familiar with like shadow work, the shadow is things about ourselves that we don't like, or that we don't acknowledge in ourselves, or we don't want to acknowledge. So the shadow self is typically things like, you know, sometimes it can be things like lust, guilt, anger, you know, those things that we don't want to admit that we are, if that makes sense. But for you, I feel like this shadow self is almost like you're not acknowledging all these positive things about you. Like you're not acknowledging your own power, and because of that, it's like you like you're stuck. I feel like this is such a cheesy message, but I feel like the answer that you need is within you. Like you are a very creative, powerful, charismatic person, but you're just not really letting that come to the surface. I'm going to pull some more cards from this deck and see what else we can get. A message for pile 1, please. Wow, yeah. You have comparison. A message that pile 1 needs to hear, please. So already with that comparison card, and the message I was getting kind of with the Queen of Wands and the Shadow Self, is that I feel like you compare yourself to other people a lot, and you wonder like, why am I not where they are? Why am I not like they are? Or you also have turning in. I'll get one more for you. But I feel like, again, you're not realizing that you have those qualities within yourself. Sometimes we can project things onto other people. Especially, this happens a lot, I feel like, with friends. Like, when you have a friend and you're like, oh my gosh, like, why are they so pretty? Why do all of these things? And it's like, you don't realize that you also have those qualities in yourself, but you project those qualities onto someone else and think that they have it and you don't. But, like, it's within you, if that makes any sense. So, the biggest thing I'm seeing here is that you need to stop comparing yourself and going with that turning in card, like going within and doing shadow work is going to be really helpful for you. If you do have your own tarot deck, there's lots of really cool shadow spreads you can do online. I'll try to link some that I like in the description box. You also have conditioning, which I was saying, I think that going within and doing shadow work is going to be really helpful for you because, again, I feel like you guys are denying parts of yourself that are actually really positive, or you're not seeing these positive qualities within you. And so going within and realizing, okay, where do I have these things in me that I think that other people have and I don't have is going to be really helpful for you. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Okay, I think hang on. Okay, the card is the devil. I had to Google it because I'm really bad at remembering which cards are which, like, numerically wise. But again, really what I'm seeing is that you feel like you don't have these qualities that you need to succeed. For example, like, again, with the Eight of Cups and the Fool, I feel like, again, there's something that you're being called to do, some path you're being called to follow, and you are finding it hard to start on that path because you feel like you don't have the qualities needed to go down that path. But really, you have those qualities. You're just comparing yourself to other people. And you can see on, like, this card, there's this type of wood over here and then bamboo over there. And both of those are trees. Like, both of those are wood, but they're different types of wood. And so you're just not seeing, like, perhaps, for example, if you're looking at, like, beauty, for example, you know, it's possible for someone to be beautiful and also for you to be beautiful. Like, it's not like a scale where if someone is pretty, then you can't be pretty. You know, it's like there's different types of beautiful, there's different types of hardworking, different types of creativity, different types of everything. And so just because you don't have the specific type of beauty, of creativity, of work ethic that someone else has does not mean that your type of that thing isn't valuable. And so kind of like taking a step back and not comparing yourself to other people so much, and again going within and doing some shadow work to help bring in those parts of you that you're not seeing is going to be really helpful for you. You have a lot of potential here with the Ace of Wands, the Fool, the Queen of Wands. Like, there's a lot of really powerful energy here, and if you guys can reverse these cards, which I think you really easily could do, I'll talk about why in a second. I feel like you guys are going to feel so much freer and have the opportunity to go after this thing that you want to do or that you're being called to do, and it's going to come quite easily to you. I do think the reason I think it's going to be easy for you to kind of do that if you put the work in is because the Devil card in the traditional tarot, it's a little bit different in this deck, but in the traditional tarot, it shows two people that are kind of chained at the neck that are being contained or like held to this little barrier thing. But the thing that always sticks out to me about that card is that the people are chained at the neck, but the chains look quite easy to take off. Like, yes, they're heavy, yes, they're restrictive, yes, they don't feel good, but they're quite easy to take off, and the people aren't doing it because in some aspect they like being chained. You know, it's like that, like, pleasure is pain kind of thing. And so again, I feel like right now you're feeling restricted, you're feeling kind of stuck, but those chains are actually going to be quite easy to take off if you just do the work, if you just lift it up. It's going to be quite easy to kind of get a new perspective. You have a lot of really positive cards here, like I keep saying, a lot of like new potential. I feel like if you go within and you do that shadow work, it's going to be quite easy for you to start to see areas where you can kind of move forward and see, okay, I have this quality, so I can do this, you know, that kind of thing. Kind of just make some progress in that area. I'm going to pull some charms for you guys. I did buy a little like charm tray on Amazon, but that is obviously not essential, so it has not been delivered yet, and I'm using a plate for the time being. So I'm just going to put it here and pull some charms for you guys. What does pile 1 need to hear right now? Okay, you guys got a lot. Let's take a look. Okay, you guys have this little wiener dog, a robot. I'm gonna move over here a little bit so I can see them better because I'm blind. I'm just gonna move over a little bit. You guys have an angel, you have a book, you have a little mouse that's scurrying this way. You've got a squirrel, a racket, a palm tree, a compass, pizza, lotus, a feather, a bumblebee. Okay, so like with the gavel, I do feel like you guys are being a little bit too judgmental, a little bit too hard on yourself. Again, I feel like you're just not seeing these positive qualities that you have. That's kind of the biggest thing that I'm seeing here. It's like, whatever, again, you guys, I understand that you're feeling like stuck and things like that, but whatever it is that you want to do, it's not going to be that hard to achieve. Again, because you have the qualities needed to go after that path, that thing, whatever it is that you want. But you're just being too hard on yourself. And you need to kind of take pride in your accomplishments. Like, it's okay to feel proud of yourself. It's okay to recognize these positive things in you. You don't always have to assign them to other people. Or you don't always have to, for example, if someone gives you a compliment, you don't always have to say, no, like, that's so you. You know, it's okay to accept those compliments. It's okay to feel good about ourselves and to recognize those areas where you've done well. And again, by doing some shadow work, I think that could come easier to you in that way. With the angel, I think that you guys really do have like a guardian angel that's looking out for you. And again, with the angel and the compass, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling kind of directionless, you're going to get a message. You're going to get direction and guidance to kind of help you on your path and kind of lead you where you need to go. Same with that feather. Like, you have someone watching out for you that's kind of trying to give you hints, and it's like they kind of just want to like shake you and be like, why don't you see how awesome you are? Like, why don't you see all these amazing things about you? And this person, or this like guardian angel, whatever it might be, just wants you to be happy, and they kind of want to give you messages to help you achieve that. So definitely watch out for dreams, for angel numbers, things like that, because you have a guardian angel that wants to kind of give you some messages that way. I also feel like this thing that you want to do, or like changing your life in some capacity, it's going to be hard work, but it's not going to be as hard as you think it is. I think that it is going to be hard work, but it's going to be hard work in a different way than you think. It's like, again, a lot of this is going to be going within and doing like shadow work. Once you do that, the actual work of this thing is going to be quite easy, but you kind of have to like see yourself in the situation in a different light. That's kind of the biggest thing. And again, it's going to be like, that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not always easy, but once you do that, the rest is going to come quite easy to you. It's going to be easier once you do that like inner work first. Definitely there's a lot of spiritual elements here, so definitely incorporating spirituality into this is going to be really helpful. And again, just acknowledging those parts of yourself that you've been kind of ignoring, because I feel like the things that you're ashamed of aren't that bad about yourself, and because you're like locking away these parts of yourself, you're also, like I keep saying, locking away these really amazing things about you that you're not seeing, that if you utilize those things, it would make it a lot easier for you to get what you want, or to kind of figure out a direction of where you want to go, where you want to take your life, and where you're kind of meant to go. But the biggest message that's coming through here is that you have someone that's looking out for you, that's trying to give you messages, so pay attention to angel numbers, things like that. And also, you 100% have all that you need within you to transform your life and go on, like, do this thing that you've always been wanting to do. Like, you have, like, there's so much potential here. You just have to recognize that within yourself. So that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose pile 1. I hope that was interesting or provided clarity or insight. If it did resonate, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. Once again, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Hi guys, if you chose pile number 2, the pink amethyst cluster or the spolia tarot, then welcome. This reading is for you. Let's take a look at what your spirit guides, your angels, the universe wants you to know right now. I don't know if you guys can tell, this deck is massive. It's so hard to shuffle, but I really love this deck, so I'm really excited to see what message you guys have. We invite any ancestors, any spirit guides, any positive energies that want to communicate with us about everyone that chose pile 2 to please communicate in the most effective and concise way possible, so that we can get the most accurate and helpful reading for for everyone that chose pile 2 that we can. Again, asking, what does pile 2 need to know? What do they need to hear right now? Okay, you guys have the world. A message for pile 2, please. You guys have the Lovers card. Oops. And you guys also have, okay, you have the Two of Wands, and you have the Earth card, which I'm going to put off to the side for now, and we'll pull one more tarot card for you guys, and then take a look at this message. You guys have the Air card as well, so I will put that onto the side. Let's get one more card. Wow, you guys have the Empress. Okay, and the bottom of your deck is the Knight of Wands. Okay. What do you guys need to hear right now? I'm going to move it a little bit over this way. Okay, the very first thing that I'm seeing is that there's a lot of potential here with the World, the Empress, even the Two of Wands. There's a lot going on, like a lot coming in the future. If you've been worried about like not knowing if you've already peaked or you've already like, you know, if you've already kind of had the best parts, if that makes sense, like you have a lot more to come. Like the best is still yet to come is the message here. Whether it's like in terms of career and love, whatever it might be, like the best is still yet to come. There's a lot of travel here with the World and the Two of Wands. So that could be an element as well if you guys have been wanting to travel, if you've been like hoping for travel. There's definitely travel coming in your future. One of the messages that I'm getting with the World and the Lovers is that I do feel like there's something in your life that you're holding on to that is not serving you. Like there's something in your life that has served its purpose. Like one cycle has come to an end and you might be having a hard time letting go of that cycle. So that cycle could be a part of your life. It could be a person. It could be a place. It could be a job. Like there's something in your life that's kind of like coming to a close. It's kind of, you know, like the cycle has just ended. And you might be having a hard time actually letting go of that situation, that person, that place. And I feel like with the Earth card, like you're just being very stubborn and holding on to it. And because again, I feel like you're worried that that is like the best it's gonna get. If it's a relationship, it's like you're worried that is the best you're ever going to meet. If it's like a place, you're worried, you know, you're never going to be as happy anywhere else. Whatever it might be, like you're holding on to this thing, and this thing is ending for a reason. Like this, it wasn't a bad thing. Like it's not that like this thing is ending because you did something wrong. It's not that this is, you know, this is being taken away from you. It's just that this job, this person, whatever this situation has served its purpose in your life, and you're kind of meant to grow and flourish and do something else right now. With this Two of Wands, it's like, you know, you kind of, I just feel like, I don't know, it's like you're holding on to this tiny I guess like the image I have in my head is like you holding onto this tiny piece of sand when you're in a desert and you're worried that like you're never going to get anything else, but you have this all of this thing in front of you. The strongest like message that's coming through is that if there's something that you just feel like is time for you to kind of move on from, but you're holding on to it out of the sense of fear, it's like release that fear, because there's so much more coming for you if you kind of give it away. Again, this thing is not ending because you did something bad. It's not ending because of you. It's ending because you're meant to kind of go on a slightly different path now, and you're going to experience a lot more potential, a lot more happiness. You're just going to find a lot more opportunity to blossom if you leave this thing behind and kind of start on a new path. I do feel like you're kind of being asked to start new, to start fresh in some way, whether that be in a relationship, in a job. If you're like starting a new career path, you're kind of just being asked to start fresh in some way. And again, it's not like a punishment. It's just because you've learned something from this one cycle that has ended, and you're being asked to kind of go on a different path now. And again, like, I don't know, I just feel like you're worried that you're not going to be as happy with this new thing as you were with the old thing. But I feel like you're actually going to be even happier. Because again, the person that you were when that cycle started, like when you entered that relationship, when you entered that school, when you entered that job, that's no longer who you are, and you've grown kind of past that relationship again, or like that situation, that cycle that's ended. You've grown past it, and again, it was never a bad thing. You've evolved past it, and you need something that's going to kind of be on your level now. This is a great time for you, though, with the Empress, the Two of Wands, the World, and the Lovers. Like, this is a time for you to really come into your own. And I feel like whatever it is that you start during this time period is going to be really successful. If you start in a new career path, you'll find yourself kind of moving through the ranks very quickly. You'll find yourself very fulfilled financially and mentally. If you start a new relationship, you'll find yourself feeling really attractive, or if you like go back in the dating world, you'll find yourself very attractive. You'll find a lot of suitors, a lot of attraction. Like, you'll just find that starting new is not going to be as scary as you thought, and it's also going to bring you a lot more success than keeping with this other thing. Like, the message that I keep, it's like keep hearing the word high school in my head. It's like, when I graduated high school, for example, I know that I was kind of worried about like what the world was going to be like once I graduated. I was like, I kind of just want to stay here. But now that I've been out of high school for 5 years now, like, I would never want to go back there. And it's not that, I didn't have great friends, I didn't have really good times, I didn't good experiences in high school, but I just had so much better experiences since I left that I wouldn't want to go back there. And it's that kind of thing. It's like, you don't want to be 45 in high school. And so I kind of feel like this thing that you might be holding on to, again, it's like, it's just time to leave it. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's not a punishment that this thing is ending. It's actually a blessing that you're being led into a different direction, because that's just what's meant to happen. Like, that's just the bottom line, is that you're meant to evolve and grow. You got what you needed from this job, from this person, from this place, and it's time to kind of experience something new, something fresh. And you're going to find a lot more creativity, a lot more potential in that new situation than the one that you were holding on to. I'm going to pull some cards from this deck and just get some more messages here. Okay, we have trust. Like this trust fall. What does pile 1 need to hear right now? What does pile 2? I think I said pile 1. What does pile 2 need to hear right now? You guys have understanding. I'll pull one more card for you guys. And you guys have completion. This is the world in this deck as well. So you have the world twice. So with this understanding card, I think the universe, again, is kind of asking you here to have an understanding of why this is happening. Again, it's like you're being asked to kind of take a trust fall and leave this thing behind. Because again, I feel like this thing, whatever it is, if it's a job, if it's like a relationship, whatever, like a city, you've just kind of gotten too comfortable for it. And so for you to continue to grow and develop and mature into your full potential, you kind of have to take that trust fall and leap back into the unknown. And kind of with the Two of Wands, it's not the Ace, so you're not going back to square one, but you know you're going back to kind of the start of the drawing board, if that makes sense. And so with this understanding, again, the universe is really trying to tell you, like, this is not a bad thing. For example, if you have to move, or you have to leave a career, you're leaving a relationship, like, this, obviously, you know, you can be sad about something ending, but this is not meant to be a punishment. It's not meant to be something sad. It's meant to push you to grow further and to help you realize your potential further. So again, like with the understanding, like the universe is kind of asking you to trust them here and just know that leaving this thing behind is going to be beneficial for you. Again, with this completion, it's like you've gotten all that you can get from this thing. But you can see, I don't know if this is meant to be this, and like if the artist intended this, but this person kind of looks a little bit like a baby to me. And so even though it's like this puzzle piece is complete, this person is still a baby. So you've gotten all of the information, the knowledge, the experiences that you can get from this situation, but you're still pretty young in terms of like your potential. And so if you, again, it's like you don't want to be 45 in high school, you don't want to be like an adult baby in a way. And again, it's not like in a derogatory way at all, but just that if you stay in this relationship, if you stay in this career path, if you stay in this city, you're not going to grow, you're not going to develop, you're going to stay in this, like, you know, you're just not going to evolve to your full potential. Like, you are the Empress, but you're not there yet. And to get there, you kind of have to take that leap of faith, trust the universe, and just kind of let this cycle come to an end and move on to a new one. And again, you have the world twice, so there's a lot of travel involved here. I feel like for some of you, I keep saying city because I do feel like for some of you are being asked to like change location, or you might have wanted to move somewhere and it's not working out. And again, if like you, for example, you applied for a job somewhere, you wanted to move somewhere and it's just not happening, that's happening for a reason. The universe is like, again, you're not being punished. It's not like you suck, so you didn't get this job. The universe is like, we're looking out for you because you're meant to be somewhere else. And they're kind of just asking you to trust them right now because, again, I feel like you're really kind of holding on to this other thing, this other place, this other person. But they're really asking you to just be like, you know what, we have your back. We have your best interests at heart. Just trust us. Like, things are going to go so much better, so much easier if you leave this thing behind and move forward. And, of course, like, again, this thing was very important. I feel like, is again, with the world twice, it taught you a lot. It gave you a lot. And it's hard to leave things like that behind, but also sometimes we have to do that to keep growing and developing, and that's really what's coming through, is that for you to continue to grow and develop, you kind of have to leave this cycle behind and start a new one. I'm going to pull some charms for you. I bought this little charm thing on Amazon, but that's obviously not essential, so it hasn't been delivered yet, so I'm just improvising with this plate. So what does pile 2 need to hear right now? What does pile 2 need to know? Okay, let's see what you guys got. You guys have a diploma. So some of you could be graduating. You have a little microscope, a wine glass, a trumpet, a rose, a saw, a measuring cup, a little maple leaf, 2020. This is a syringe, I think. a peanut, a lacrosse stick, and the Eiffel Tower. Okay, so again, travel is definitely on the cards for you guys. If you guys have been worried about traveling, you guys will be able to travel, so that's coming through. Again, with the 2020 and the diploma, I do feel like a lot of you are graduating, or again, it's like you're graduating something. So if you're not graduating literally high school or college, like you're graduating, like consider this end of the cycle a graduation moment. Like you've learned all that you can get from this thing, and now you're meant to move on to something else. But also, like with this wine glass, it's like take the time to celebrate, because I feel like you guys did accomplish something with this cycle. You know, for example, if you did graduate from high school or college, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. That should be celebrated. If you know, are ending a relationship and you feel like you were able to have a really healthy relationship with them, or you didn't, but now you kind of have realized, okay, this is what I want in a relationship, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I deserve, like that's a huge accomplishment, and that should be celebrated. Like celebrate that, you know. I guess it's like take the time now to look at where you grew as a person from this situation, what you gained from this, instead of like what you're losing from leaving this behind, but what you gained and what you can hope for in the future is going to be really helpful here. And with that rose, again, it's really speaking to me of the Fool's journey. You know, the Fool usually has the white rose. So you're starting something new, which is exciting. And, like, that can be scary, too. But try to have that innocence, that optimism, that positivity about it, because the universe really has your back here. With the Saw, again, it's like, you know, something has to be left behind. And just kind of, you gotta do it. But, again, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel, you know, that you're leaving something important behind, but also trying to have some kind of positivity or sense of optimism about it. I think that this is, yeah, it's a sunflower. So try to stay optimistic, try to stay positive, and know that this is happening for your highest and greatest good. This is happening for your benefit, and it's happening to make you a stronger, better person overall. With this measure cup, it's making me think again of like with that completion card too, with the puzzle piece, it's like the universe is like adding ingredients to you, but you're not quite yet done. I'm thinking of the Powerpuff Girls intro, you know, when they're adding like sugar and spice and stuff like that into the Powerpuff Girls. So it's like you got like intelligence or kindness or maturity from this experience, but now it's time to move on to something else, so the universe can keep adding things to you. And again, the strongest thing is coming through is just that, like, this is something to be celebrated, not grieved. Again, it's okay to feel sad that something ends, but also, like, with graduation, that's a sad moment, but it's also a happy moment. There's also something to be celebrated. So there's something to be celebrated here. So try to find that and try to stay optimistic and positive, because you have a lot of really positive things coming. Once you, like, again, I feel like there's a lot of fear here, but once you let that go, you guys will see so much growth, so much potential. There's a lot of really positive energy here. So I'm really excited for you guys to experience that. And I'm excited to see where you guys travel to as well, because there's like a lot of travel here. So that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose pile 2. I hope that was interesting or provided clarity or insight. If it did resonate, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. I'm sending you guys lots of light and love, and have a great day. Hi guys, if you chose pile 3 or the rhodonite stone with the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot, then welcome. This reading is for you. Let's take a look and see what message your angels, your ancestors, the universe wants you to hear right now. We invite any ancestors, any spirit guides, any positive energies that want to communicate with us about everyone that chose pile 3 to please communicate in the most effective and concise way possible, so that we can get the most accurate and helpful reading for everyone that chose pile 3 that we can. Again, asking, what does pile 3 need to hear right now? What does pile 3 need to know right now? We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. We have the 4 of Wands in reverse. We have the 10 of Swords. Let's see if this... I used to have a little cloth thing on here because I was afraid of the cards falling, and then I spilled candle wax on it. And I haven't been able to get a new cloth yet because everything's closed with quarantine. So hopefully those will stay up. And let's get one more card. What does pile 3 need to hear right now? And we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. And the bottom of the deck is this moon cycle card that comes in this deck. And then underneath that is the 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay, so you guys have a lot of wands and a lot of swords here. There's no people on any of these cards. So one thing that I'm kind of feeling from this is that you guys are just going through a lot right now. There could be a lot on your mind, like a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure. With the 4 of Wands in reverse, you might be feeling kind of unstable right now. And with the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Wands in reverse, something might have ended, or you might just be feeling like they're just like, you're taking on a lot. With the 7 of Wands, when the 7 of Wands is upright, that can be when we feel like we're just kind of getting attacked from all sides, from people, or it could be, you have multiple people kind of coming at you, or it could be like you have problems with your job, and you have problems with your relationship, and you have problems with your family. It's just like the things are coming at you from all sides. And so there is this sense of just like a lot going on with the 10 of Wands in reverse and the 10 of Swords, and just a general sense of like uneasiness or instability with the 4 of Wands in reverse. With the 10 of Wands in reverse, when the 10 of Wands comes up upright, it usually means that we've taken on too much responsibility, that we've taken on too many burdens, and we need to kind of just put a few things down. But with this in reverse and with the 10 of Swords, what I feel like for some of you, it might be that you have just like so much going on right now that it just feels like you can't handle it. It just feels like this intense amount of pressure and stress. For others of you, it might feel like something might have ended, and so you're used to being really busy, you're used to, having all of this stress, and now you don't, and that feels really strange and unusual to you. But there's just this really general sense of feeling really, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot coming at you from all angles, and there's a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of pressure here. I'm going to pull some cards from this deck and see what else comes through. What does pile 3 need to hear right now? You have participation. What does pile 3 need to hear right now? You have the guilt card. We have the past lives card. I'm gonna get one more for you guys. And we have, this card says schizophrenia, which I don't love that it says that, but we'll put that there. Okay. So again, this is how I really feel like this is just the energy that's coming through. It's just a lot of everything, a lot of stress, there's just this burden on you. And with the participation and also the 8 of Swords in reverse, I kind of feel like you're being asked to examine where you are participating in this. And I'm not at all trying to say that your problems are your fault, or that you brought this on yourself. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But I do think that you're putting unnecessary stress, pressure, and burden on yourself that other people probably aren't doing for you. As a personal example, not that you guys asked, I do private readings sometimes. Right now they're closed, but sometimes I do open my books and do private readings for people that watch my videos on YouTube, and I love doing that. I love connecting with people that way, and it just makes me really happy. But I also put a lot of pressure on myself. I do that in like with everything that I do, but especially with readings, because I just always want to do a really good job. And I put like so much pressure on myself that I don't think anyone else would put on me. Like, for example, sometimes when I was like, one of my videos went popular. One of my videos got pretty popular recently, and I think in one day I got like 30 requests for private readings. And it takes me usually around 30 minutes to do a reading. And so I could not reasonably do all of that in one day, but I felt like I had to give everyone the reading the same day. And I also put a lot of pressure on myself. So I feel like if I don't know, if I feel like something is really wrong, or not wrong, but if I feel like I didn't do a good job, I will redo the reading. But then I just have this like perfectionist attitude where it's like no one else would probably have that same perception, or no one would probably put those constraints on me. I'm sure everyone would like to get their reading the same day, but I don't think that everyone is expecting that to happen. But I put that on myself, and then I stress myself out so much that I put so much pressure on myself, and that makes it hard for me then to like do readings because I feel guilty about them being late, even though they're not even late. Like, it's just that in my own head does that like make any sense? Basically, I'm just trying to say that I feel like you're putting too much pressure on yourself that other people aren't even thinking of you. It's like, if you feel like you need to, again, if you feel like you need to like take care of your family, you might feel like you're not doing enough, but your family doesn't have that same perception. It's that kind of thing. It's like you are putting so much stress on yourself that other people don't put on you. So with the participation and the guilt and the Eight of Swords in reverse, I do think you're kind of being asked to like, okay, where am I participating in this stress? Like, where am I adding stress in my own life that maybe it doesn't need to be there? Like, am I putting undue constraints on myself? Not undue, but am I putting like am I like asking too much of myself that other people wouldn't ask of me? Am I giving myself unreasonable deadlines? Am I giving myself unreasonable goals to meet? Kind of reevaluating what you expect of yourself. The timeline, I think, is going to be helpful here. Also, all of these cards are in reverse except for the Ten of Swords. And when the Ten of Swords comes up, this card comes up for me all of the time in the readings that I do for myself, I think it's because I'm a very dramatic person. I have really bad anxiety, and I'm like a master of that thing where you're like, okay, well, if I get anxious about literally everything, and I'll, in my head, for example, be like, okay, like, if I can't sleep, then I'll be like, oh my god, now I'm going to wake up late tomorrow, and if I wake up late tomorrow, I'm going to miss the bus. If I miss the bus, I'm not going to go into work, and if I don't go to work, they're going to fire me because I showed up late, and if they fire me, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. I just, like, go on this huge tangent, and it's, like, none of that is, like, has even happened. Like, why am I, going from what if I don't wake up tomorrow to, like, I'm going to get fired and not be able to pay my rent. Like, I just I can be very dramatic in that way. And the traditional tarot deck shows a man lying on the ground with 10 swords in his back, and you only need one sword to kill you. So the fact that he has 10, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of overkill. So with this one card being the one card that's upright, again, I'm not trying to say that your stress isn't valid, that your burdens aren't valid, that, this anxiety isn't valid. What I am saying is that I do feel like you might be over exaggerating some of these issues, that you might be, again, putting undue stress on yourself that other people aren't, and you might be just, again, I'm not trying to say they're being dramatic about this, but again, like with the anxiety situation that I explained to you, it's like, okay, I'm worried I'm not going to wake up. I haven't even done that yet, I haven't even slept in, so there's no reason then to be like, I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent, because that's just it. There's no logical jump from what if this happens to what if that happens. Like, there's all of these what ifs in between, and I do feel like you need to kind of come back to earth a little bit, kind of ground yourself a little bit and be like, okay, which of these concerns are valid and which am I kind of projecting, or what am I kind of it's like there's no point in worrying about something if something else hasn't even happened. If that, I don't know if that like makes sense, but for example, like I don't need to worry about not being able to pay my rent, because that focuses, like that would come from me being fired, which will come from me being late, and I haven't even like woken up late yet, you know what I mean? So there's no need for me to worry about how I'm going to pay my rent, because that's an issue that hasn't even come into my life yet. So I do feel like you're kind of being asked to kind of look at, okay, which of these fears are the most valid right now, and which of these fears or anxieties are coming based off of other things that haven't even happened yet, you know? So what is like the most practical thing I can do right now for that one fear that's going to help the other fears, if that makes any kind of sense. Let me take a look at this card. I do feel like it's something that's been like kind of going on for a while. So this is kind of like a cycle that you're being asked to stop, like, or a thought process that you're being asked to stop. And again, the one thing that's kind of coming to me in this card, there's all these people. I'm like thinking this as a mind, even though it's not. It's just like hands. But there's a lot of people there. So I feel like you have a lot of like of voices in your head in a way. And I'm not trying to say that you're hearing voices, but just that like you're ascribing things to people that they don't even think of. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, my mom is going to be so disappointed if this happens, but your mom doesn't care. Or you're like, my boyfriend's going to be so sad if this happens, but your boyfriend doesn't care about that. You know what I mean? It's like you are stressing because you're worried that other people are going to have these perceptions that they don't even have. And so you're really slowing yourself down because of that. The Eight of Swords, which is at the bottom of your deck, is a card that usually talks about self-victimization. I'm just not seeing, usually on the traditional card, it shows a woman that's blindfolded in between all of these swords. And so she's not seeing clearly, she's not realizing, okay, she can kind of get herself out of this situation. And I kind of feel like that's what's going on here too. You're so blinded by this anxiety and these thoughts that you're not realizing that you have a lot more authority and a lot more agency than you think that you do. Like you're able to change a lot more in a situation than you think. And again, I feel like a lot of what you are stressed about right now is in your own head. Or what I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's as bad as you think that it is. For example, if you're worried about other people, like they are not that concerned about it. And a lot, again, you're just kind of like, it's not coming from a rational place. And so one message is that everything is going to be okay. You know, if you just kind of come back to earth a little bit, try to ground yourself and think, okay, what is like the most practical thing I can do right now to help myself? Everything is going to be okay. If you like let yourself get so stressed and like if you let this anxiety and guilt and shame just take over you, it's going to be a lot harder with the situation. If you can kind of free yourself and think, okay, if you can just be a little bit more gentle and kind with yourself, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with this situation. I'm going to pull some charms for you guys now. I bought a little like charm tray on Amazon. That is obviously not essential, so it has not been delivered yet, so I am improvising with this plate. Let's pull some charms for you guys for pile 3 and see what you guys need to hear right now. What does pile 3 need to hear right now? Okay, you guys have a lion, you have a tassel, you have a little fish, a cross, a bunny and a moon, a Celtic knot, a racket, a little person in a kayak, you have a dove, I think, a pail with a shovel, a gavel, a little tree, and this other little tree. Okay, so a few things are coming through. This kayak is making me think of the Six of Swords. So you're going to make it through this. Everything is going to be okay. Just kind of take a deep breath. With the shovel, though, and the pail, it's like there is an opportunity for you to make things worse. Like, you can dig yourself deeper. So just, like, stop with that. It's like, again, try to ground yourself and try to really think, okay, am I being reasonable here? Because there's that possibility for you to kind of dig yourself deeper. But there's a lot of really positive energy here. So I don't think that you're going to do that, but just know that that is a possibility. So don't go down that route. With the Celtic knot, again, you have a lot of people in your life that love you unconditionally. So if you're worried about disappointing someone, or if you feel like if you feel this sense of pressure for other people, these people love you unconditionally. They are going to understand where you're coming from, and they're not going to be upset with you. Like, they're not disappointed in you the way that you're disappointed in yourself for upsetting them. So just know that people love you unconditionally, and, they don't see you in the way that you're afraid of. Again, with the dove, everything is going to be okay. That's kind of the biggest thing coming through. With this racket, you have more moves than you think that you do. Again, if you feel really stuck, if you feel like everything is over, you have a lot more things to do. Like, you have a lot more moves you can make, a lot more agency than you think that you do. Again, with like that blindfold on the 8 of Swords, you're not seeing a situation clearly, and you're not realizing, like, you're kind of being blinded by this anxiety. So again, coming back to earth, grounding yourself, and with that palm tree, kind of taking some time to relax and be like, okay, I'm just kind of going to chill, decompress, unwind a little bit. And I think once you do that, it's going to be a lot easier to see, okay, where can I make some changes? How can I adjust? What can I really do to change the situation? With the Lion, again, you are strong enough to handle this. You're a strong person. You know that. You can do this. You can get through it. Everything is going to be okay. Again, it's not as bad as it seems. And you have a lot of people that want to back you up. But with the 6 of Swords, you're going to make it through this. You're going to be okay. Everything is going to be fine. Just take some deep breaths, relax a little bit, and then get to work. So that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose pile 3. I hope that was helpful or provided clarity or insight. If it did resonate, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. I'm sending lots of love and light your way, and have a great day. Hi guys, if you chose pile 4 or the rainbow cluster with the marshmallow marseille, then welcome. Let's take a look at your reading and see what you guys need to know or focus on or hear right now. We invite any ancestors, any spirit guides, any positive energies that want to communicate with us about everyone that chose pile 4 to please do so in the most effective and concise way possible, so that we can get the most accurate and helpful reading for everyone that chose pile 4 that we can. Again, asking, what does pile 4 need to hear right now? What does pile 4 need to know? What will help pile 4 the most right now? Okay, you guys have the 9 of Cups upright. You guys have the Temperance card. What does pile 4 need to know or hear at this moment? And we have the Strength card and the 5 of Swords in reverse, and the bottom of the deck is the 5 of Pentacles. Okay. So with those two 5s there, with the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, you could be going through a difficult time right now, or you could be about to go into a difficult time period. The 5 of Swords typically indicates disputes, conflict, arguments, just like disagreements. And the 5 of Pentacles typically indicates a time of financial hardship, a time of feeling lonely or rejected, or just kind of, alone. And you do have a lot of cards here with the 9 of Cups, the Temperance card and even the Strength card in a way, even though she's got a lion there. The Nine of Cups is very much usually a card kind of about being alone, or to me it's kind of about being about like self-fulfillment. The Rider-Waite deck shows a man who's sitting with his arms crossed by himself in front of the 9 cups. The Temperance card, it's a woman by herself. The Force card, it's a woman by herself with a lion, but there's no other human companions there. So what I am seeing is that you guys might be feeling kind of isolated at the moment, kind of distant, kind of separated. You could be feeling distant from the universe as well. Again, if you're going through this difficult time period, it might feel like you've been abandoned by your angels, by the universe, by God, whatever you want to think about. Or again, with that 5 of Swords, you may be having conflict or disagreements with family or friends right now. And the strongest message that's coming through is that everything is going to be okay. You have the strength and the ability to get through this. You have not been abandoned by those that you love. You have not been abandoned by the universe. The universe has your back, and you're meant to go through this period for a purpose. With the 9 of Cups, like, this is bringing you towards that place that you've always wanted to be. Same with the Temperance card. The Temperance card to me is all about divine intervention, divine guidance. And so with the 9 of Cups representing physical fulfillment, wish fulfillment, just like getting what you want, and with the Temperance card being divine guidance, this situation, as shitty and hard as it is right now, is like meant to bring you towards that place that you've always wanted to be. So with that Strength card, again, it's like, this is not fun, but you have the strength to stick it out and get through it, and you're going to be so glad that you did once you get to the other side. With the Strength card as well, again, what I'm seeing is that this, like, I'm drawn to that lion and that the woman is taming the lion. And so what I kind of feel is that this situation is not as bad as it seems. It's, that's still a lion. Like, he still has his paws up, he's still kind of fighting. He's still scary. But the situation is not as dire. It's not as hopeless. It's not as difficult as it seems. And again, you're going to get through this. Everything's going to be fine. You have not been abandoned by those that you love, like friends and family, or by the universe. The universe is doing this for a reason, and just trust and know that this is bringing you towards a better place. Again, if you haven't really gone through this yet, know that you may be experiencing a time like this coming up. But again, this is happening for your highest and greatest good. So this is not something to be scared of or upset about. Again, you might feel abandoned by a lot of people or by the universe at this time, and just know that you're not. People are watching out for you, both like friends and family, and also angels, spirit guides, ancestors. People have your back. Even if it doesn't feel like it, people are looking out for you. People are thinking of you. And again, this is meant to happen to you to bring you towards that place that you want to be with the 9 of Cups and the Temperance card. With the Temperance card, and also 1-5 being upright and 1-5 being reversed, there is this sense of things needing to come back into balance. So if you have been spending a lot of time alone, think about reaching out to friends or family, trying to get in contact with people more, or trying to get in contact with ancestors, the divine, if you don't want to contact people on the physical realm. Also, if you've been feeling quite negative, try and add some positivity in there, as hard as that might be. But there is just this need, I feel like, to kind of relax a little bit as well, which I know sometimes when I've been going through financial difficulties, I have a hard time not working, or I have a hard time taking time for myself because I feel guilty doing that. But again, like with the Temperance card and the Strength card, you have someone watching out for you. If you take one night off to do some self-care or just hang out with yourself, like, nothing bad is going to happen. Again, Temperance to me is a card of divine intervention, the card of like a guardian angel. And also on the Strength card, this woman would not be able to tame that lion without some help, especially supernatural help. So again, you have people and forces that are looking out for you, and if you take some time to recuperate, you're not going to lose progress, and like, things aren't going to get worse. I feel like they're only going to get better if you take some time for yourself. And again, try to reconnect with people, whether that be friends and family or your ancestors, spirit guides, whatever is kind of calling to you at this moment. There's the need to kind of relax a little bit and let things come back into balance. I'm going to pull some cards for you from this deck. Okay, we have the receptivity card. What does pile 4 need to hear right now? You have the politics card. And you also have the new vision card. Okay. So with this politics card, again, I do feel like there is this sense of being betrayed or disappointed by other people. Perhaps other people are kind of playing too much into politics. They're not being as loyal or don't have as much integrity as you would like, and you feel like people are being political or people are kind of being fake with you. But again, like, this situation is happening for a reason. With this new vision card, it's like this is bringing you closer to the place that you've always wanted to be, closer to that vision of yourself that you've always wanted to achieve, closer to that dream, that career, that place, whatever it might be. Like, this situation is giving you strength, and it's bringing you towards this new vision of yourself. So with this receptivity card, again, it's kind of up to you at this moment to be open to receiving help, especially from the divine. Because again, I feel like there is this sense that you feel kind of abandoned in some ways. And I do feel like you might be closing yourself off to this help, even if you don't think that you are, just because you feel like it's not possible. And our thoughts really do co-create our realities, even if you don't believe in like the law of attraction and that kind of thing. When you think something, you're more likely to subconsciously act in a way that's going to bring that thing to you. For example, if you think that like you'll never get into Harvard, you're not going to apply to Harvard, and then you're not going to get in because you never took the chance and applied. So here it's like if you think that everyone's out to get you, or you think that there's no hope, that you're like you have to do it all by yourself, you're going to kind of subconsciously close yourself off to opportunities that would otherwise be there, that could help you out a lot, because you just don't think that they're there. So kind of opening yourself up to the possibility that there are people that want to help you, that the universe does have your back, the universe does want to give you positive things, and just opening yourself up to that idea is going to be really beneficial here. And again, this is all happening to bring you closer to this vision of yourself that you've always wanted. So even though this is not a fun thing to go through, it's kind of like growing pains. Like, you kind of have to go through this period to get closer to where you want to be. And I think once you get to that place that you want to be, you would not trade this experience for the world. I know for myself, not to like use myself in a bunch of examples, but when I was in high school, my family went through a lot of really difficult things. It was honestly like the series of unfortunate events. It was like as soon as one bad thing happened and we thought that was like as bad as it could get, another thing happened, and it's just like my mom always says that we should have like a reality TV show about that time period, because it was just crazy. And I remember at the time being like, why is my life so horrible? Like, why is this happening to me? But now looking back on it, I can see how that time period brought me to where I am today, and I'm so much happier with who I am now than I would have been if I hadn't gone through that, if that makes sense. Like, I'm so grateful for the experiences that I went through, because it gave me depth and maturity as a person, and I would not appreciate where I am now as much had I not gone through that really difficult time period of uncertainty and anxiety and just hardship. I would not be half the person that I am today. And so I think that's kind of the same message that's coming through here for you, is that this time period that you're in or you're about to go through is going to be challenging, but you are strong enough to get through it, and you have both supernatural and natural forces that want to help you get through this time period. So opening yourself up to receiving that help, and knowing that you don't have to do this all on your own, and that this is ultimately happening to bring you closer to that person, that place, that career that you've always dreamt of. Like, just knowing that is going to be really helpful in helping you get through this period. And again, don't feel guilty taking time for yourself, or don't feel guilty asking for help or relying on others for help, because like, there's no shame in that, and that's only going to help you get through this time period faster. I'm going to pull you some charms now. I did buy a little charm tray thing on Amazon, but that's obviously not essential, so I am improvising with this plate. Just gonna put that there and use the charms. We continue to ask any ancestors, spirit guides, positive energies that want to communicate with us what pile 4 needs to hear, what pile 4 needs to learn or to know at this point in their lives. What does pile 4 need to know? Okay, I'm gonna move over here a little bit because I'm blind and can't see the charms. Okay, you guys have a violin, you have an open box, you have a ballet slipper, you've got a camera, you've got a squirrel, a cross, a crown that is reversed, you have a little angel, you've got a saw, you've got a book, a dragonfly, keys, yarn, a rocking horse. Okay, so with the angel and the cross, again, you very much have someone looking out for you. A lot of you have a guardian angel, like someone that's passed that is looking on over you and making sure that you're okay, that you're doing well. So again, like, you have help. You're not doing this on your own. And with this open box, opening yourself up to that help, to the possibility of that existing and opening yourself up to accepting that is going to be really helpful. Like with this squirrel, don't like bottle things up and keep them inside, hoard and like just keep things bottled up. Like, don't be afraid to tell people that you're struggling, that you're not doing well. Don't be afraid to ask for help, to open up. Like, don't keep it in. Like, that's only going to make things worse. Again, with the yarn being next to the keys, I do feel like, again, this feels like a really difficult situation, and I'm not saying that it's not, but there is a solution. Like, there is a way to get out of it. And again, with like this lion, like, this is a scary, challenging situation. There's no doubt about it, but it's also not as bad as it seems because you have the strength to get through it. Like, the universe would not have given this to you if you weren't able to handle it. So even though this is tricky and challenging, you have the ability to get out of it, and you will. Like, this is not going to be permanent. Again, like with this rocking horse, it's almost making me think of like a roller coaster, like ups and downs. But like, you can see this rocking horse like never gets off track. Like, things kind of go up and down. It can kind of bounce around, but again, it's never going to become too much for you to handle. Things will be difficult, but it's never going to be more than you can handle. You have another line here too, so again, you're definitely strong enough to handle this. That's really what's coming through, is that you have divine guidance and that you're strong enough to handle this, and you will get through it. And again, this is making you a better person because of that situation. Same with the crown. This is going to require some hard work, but again, you very much are capable of doing that. And even if you weren't, you have people and angels that are looking out for you that want to help you. So asking for that help is going to be huge here. It's going to be important. It's not going to make you any less strong. In fact, I think it makes people stronger when they're open to admitting their vulnerability and the difficulty that they're experiencing. I think it's 100% stronger to admit that and ask for help than to try and carry on all by yourself and just struggle and not open up and tell people that you're going through this time. Because it takes a lot of strength to be vulnerable, and that's kind of the message of the strength card, is that it takes a lot of strength to be that gentle. I think that's kind of a message for you guys here. But all in all, what's coming through is that you are going to get through this time period. You have the ability to do so, you have the age to do so, and this is bringing you towards a place that you will be really happy with in the end. So that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose pile 4. I hope that was helpful or provided some clarity or insight. If it did resonate, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. I'm sending lots of love and light to all of you, and have a great day.